Hello and welcome, I'm Raziel. Now I've got to try and stretch this into an 8-minute video, even though I can make my point within 5. Well, I can make it within 3 to be honest with you, so ready for lots of jibber jabber and nonsense because I got to stretch a video out. And here's the thing, the problem is we are just had the reveals from the championships. And the big ones are the Elder and the Death Core of Krieg, which is, pretty cool. I mean, the Death Core of Krieg one has one silly added addition, which I'm not very happy with, but because there's variation and you can change it and it's not going to be all the same, it doesn't really bother me that much, and that is, of course, their mounted heavy flamer. That just seems a bit silly to me for something that's not really a defensive weapon, but more of a weapon that's used to clear things out and be up front. It's not going to be, I don't know, it just seems a bit daft to have a heavy flamer mounted like that. So, anyway, the other issue is when it comes to this. So, Death Core Krieg is pretty cool, looks nice, horses, commissars, etc., etc., very nice looking models. And then you've got the new Horus Heresy. We knew the Derridia was going to get the big rocket pack coming. That was kind of, we knew that. And of course, the Arvis Lighter. Now, the problem with the Arvis Lighter is, in fact, that it only got a model update for Forge World last year. It's only just had barely 15 months since it was announced from the new Forge World resin to this new plastic one. When I said back then, and I will say it now, they should have made it plastic back then. And we would see a new plastic model coming up sooner or later, and here it is. So, it's kind of annoying that people who bought the new Arvis resin one, which came out last year, is now seeing that their model is going to cost like 30, probably about 30 quid. It's a flyer, so about 30 quid. I'm still not going to get one. I still don't like them. I don't like them as a model. I don't like them as a concept. Anyway, but yeah, so that's the other thing. So, Horus Heresy's got some new stuff, and Death Core Krieg looks pretty cool. And, well, there is an issue, which, of course, the limited edition Codex, which is coming in, I think it's a Battle Force or whatever, is, of course, old art. It's no new art. But this is some sort of theme I've been noticing with Games Workshop as of late, but they have lost imagination. They don't have any creativity left. This is probably why Death Core of Krieg has such these good-looking new models, because they don't really need creativity to make new ones. They are World War I French/German soldiers. That's what they are. So they don't really have to think of anything new. They can just go, oh, look at these pictures from World War II, and we'll just copy them. No, World War I, I should say, sorry. World War I, not World War II. Fine, okay. That's fine. Inspiration is inspiration, but the lack of creativity is, again, this massive issue. We see it so many times lately. We've had covers, Codex covers, Codicy covers, plenty of times which have recycled art over and over again. We've seen them use art from, different aspects, but it's, 25, 30-year-old art, but, nostalgia and, all that icon baiting and stuff like that to get you to buy this new stuff. And it is kind of saddening to see a company which once was full of imagination and full of enjoyment, and, you could be really creative with your models, and they were creative within their, within the limits of what they could do with metal and resin at the time. Well, finecast resin at least. And then, of course, they moved up to plastic and, they got more creative. I mean, it got really good and, some of the models looked really nice. But for some reason, they've dropped all imagination. And this really comes to bear when it is now with the Eldar. The problem with the Eldar is we've had the new Marg Noir and the new Jane Czar, and they both look completely different from their original models. They look a lot cooler, they look a lot nicer, and as though I'm a massive fan of both Jane Czar and Marg Noir, I'm a big Eldar fan anyway, as I was for a long time, this new aspect lords, Phoenix Lords, are a problem because they are no different from the original Phoenix Lords. They look almost identical with some slight variation, and I mean slight variation. Think about it. Marg Noir had a simple cloak, now he has this big long cloak, as much as it's kind of the same as model as I think it'll be one of the lictors or one of the Tyranids anyway, but that's one thing to be in, adapt one model into another, but to completely copy your old model and pass them off as brand new is a different thing. And it's kind of bad to show this lack of creativity within Games Workshop. So Fugan, Azraman, swords changed hands. Fugan is pretty much identical. And Baharov basically no longer has his head tilted up, being all heroic and dramatic. He now is facing forward, because why make him have a dramatic pose when you could just have him make a boring, normal pose? And then you got the fire dragons, the swooping hawks, and the warp spiders. I will be coming to lick this anyway. Yeah, what a dumbass name. Lickis. It probably is some sort of Celtic or, Gaelic form of spider. Probably. But when it comes to the aspect warriors themselves, again, we see so little change. They are pretty much identical to as they were when they were in resin and in metal. There's no change at all with the X-Arch. He is pretty much the identical, including the good old tactical rock, as the plastic one, as the resin one. Same with the swooping hogs, and same with the warp spiders in general. Lickvis does have a very pretty much a cool looking model, I've got to say. It's pretty dynamic, and it's a complete different. This is what I mean. Like, Lickvis has this very dynamic base. He's very dynamic model, and he's completely different. He's exactly what we should have been getting. But Azraman, Paharov, and Fugan look so much like their old one. It's so clear that they didn't know what to do with these, and it feels like nostalgia bait more than anything else. It doesn't feel like they actually tried or want to do anything with these models. Fear of making people scared that they're no longer going to be able to play with their models. And let's not forget, for the majority of last edition, we couldn't even use most of the Phoenix Lords. We could only really use Janezar and Morgan Ra because they decided to get rid of all of them. But the good thing is that there's kind of new art on the cover, which is Fugan, and everyone's like, oh my god, it's not a seer, and we haven't had a seer since 2nd edition. Well, kind of wrong. So that 3rd edition Craft World Eldar book that's Craft World Eldar, not Eldar, before anyone gets in. The Codex supplement had Kane, and there is an Autarch on the front of the 5th edition Codex. So yes, we have had different things that are not just seers on them. Yes, we've had a lot of seers, don't get me wrong, but this is not that uncommon, 3 out of 10 codices, or actually 3 out of 9, so it's 1/3 haven't had actually 10 because it's a Codex supplement, haven't had an fit seer on it. So still about 1/3 of the codices haven't had seers on them. It's not so incredibly uncommon, but it's more often than not we see a seer. And yes, it is an Autarch. They admitted it when it was released. There was an Autarch on the front, and as well on the 5th edition Codex. And also it's the cover of the book by C.S. Goto. Oh god, I can't remember what that book, god, it's awful, but weird at the same time. So there you go. So those are my thoughts on the Eldar. It's just copy pasting exactly what it was, and that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you all again soon. And don't forget, if you wish to save money on your Warhammer or other forms of wargaming, you can get up to 20% off Whaling Games, free delivery up to £20, and their point system, which kind of equates to an extra 1% off. So about 21% off in general. Or up to 1% off, I should say. And then there is Forbidden Planet for comics, DVDs, mangas. There's my comics, my merchandise, t-shirts, etc. And there's Skyforge. Let's get Skyforge up in that algorithm. And finally, Patreon, because business. Bye-bye.